Good afternoon. Thank you for joining us for our February 1st work session. Up first today, we do have two different proclamations. We're going to start with the proclamation for Black History Month. So, Andy?
Non-black council members can get in here if you want. I don't discriminate.
Whereas Black History Month is an annual. Thank you. Whereas Black History Month is an annual celebration of achievements by African Americans and a time for recognizing the central role of Blacks in U.S. history. Americans have recognized Black History Month annually since 1926, and whereas the theme for Black History Month 2022 is Black Health and Wellness, and whereas Black History Month is a time for all Americans to reflect and celebrate the contributions that African Americans have made in their struggles for freedom and equality, now therefore deepening our understanding of our nation's history. And whereas the city of Hagerstown is proud to honor and recognize the history, contributions, achievements of African Americans in our community, state, and nation. Now therefore be it resolved that with the support of the City Council, Emily Keller, Mayor of the City of Hagerstown, Maryland, do hereby proclaim and recognize February 2022 to be Black History Month and encourage all citizens to join us in celebrating the diversity and character of our community and highlighting the importance of sharing our culture, customs, traditions with those around us. Thank you for all you do, Brother Andy.
Well, thank you, and I appreciate that. Oh, well, thank you, I appreciate that, and I do say that I do like that. In the city of Hagerstown, for the years I've been coming down to City Hall, there's always been a recognition for Black History Month, and not just Black History Month, but the contribution of all of our Black citizens. As we see in downtown Hagerstown, there seems to be a growth of Black proprietors, so that's just something to really celebrate. And one of them does have the juice shop, which is right in line with the theme of health and wellness. All right, and I thank and appreciate you all. Oh, this guy never touches any photos. I'm gonna hire my own photographer. Come on, Alice, you can push it. It's free, so if you mess up, I won't document.
Kristen has been known to push a button or two, right?
Yeah, really. He loves to push buttons. It's his favorite thing to hold.
He is definitely a button pusher.
Wakes up like, what button can I push today?
Thank you very much.
All right, up next we have a proclamation for Neighborhoods First Month. I think we have some people here from Neighborhoods First. Join us.
I'm not reading and showing off. I'm gonna leave this first.
Oh, very good, Jonathan. Thank you guys for being here. So we have the proclamation for Neighborhoods First Month. Whereas in Hagerstown, residents have the Neighborhoods First program for their community, and the purpose of the Neighborhoods First program is to create a venue for neighborhood-based citizen groups to engage and collaborate with local government and community building and placemaking. And whereas 2022 marks the 25th anniversary of the organization of the Neighborhoods First program, and the City of Hagerstown encourages our city residents to become involved and make a difference in their community. Residents may contact the Department of Community and Economic Development to inquire about becoming involved in their Neighborhoods First group. Now therefore be it resolved, with the support of the City Council, I, Emily Keller, Mayor of the City of Hagerstown, do hereby proclaim and recognize February 2022 to be Neighborhoods First Month. And this is for you guys. And
Thank you.
we greatly appreciate all that you do for our neighborhoods, for our communities. It's an important program, and it's exciting to hear it's the 25th year, so we do appreciate your dedication. Do you guys want to say something?
Dr. Meany,
I'm Mark Meany. I live in the 1300 block of Woodland Way, the dead end, where it dead ends into the American Legion property. We lived there for 43 years almost. And we've done Neighborhoods First for 24 years. And we've had about that many block parties. We actually started our group in response to a couple of drug threats that were popping up in the neighborhood, and we came together as a group, and we had some great meetings up at the American Legion, and we managed to take care of that situation with cooperation of the police department. We still have our block parties. We do luminaries in December, like the first week, and thank you to the city for cooperating with us in that endeavor, providing us with the sand and the candles. The last December, we raised $1,200 that was actually given to us in cash and checks from people to whom we delivered the luminaries, and then I would estimate probably another $400 or $500 was sent into the Maryland Food Bank, just directly in the envelopes that we provided when we distributed the luminaries. So we enjoy doing that very much. So I just want to thank the city and the police department for helping to maintain our neighborhood. I feel very fortunate living where I live because I certainly don't have the problems that you have. And, you know, I consider myself to be really blessed that way. So, but we all really need to work together and try to have some positive benefits for all the people on the north end.
What Mark said is true, and I want to brag a little bit about Hagerstown is because I get a chance to travel around to other cities in the four-state area, and I have not yet found a neighborhood first program like the city of Hagerstown. There's neighborhood watch programs, which people shouldn't confuse what we're doing. We're showcasing our neighborhoods. In the Jonathan Street neighborhood, we have an annual Neighborhood Day of Hope, and Councilwoman Takesha, she's been there before and helped support us by doing projects with the young people, teaching about poetry and writing. And we do exhibits and all that. We offer other help to come into the community on that day, like the health department or whatever. They did vaccines at our last Neighborhood Day of Hope. And we had a spot for vendors, like the little pop-up shops to give people a chance to show if they want to be involved in something like that. So our Neighborhood Day is something that we bring the community together to help one another. And Mark comes down not every one of them, but almost every one of our Neighborhood Day of Hope, and he helps out. If it's hauling around tables and chairs, helping to move people from one location to another at the venue. So that's another example of neighborhood first groups can help each other as well. So Hagerstown is a good thing with Neighborhood First program.
Thank you. They said it best. I think it's a thank you to our group leaders and our members of groups that keep the Neighborhoods First program running. It's about partnership and engagement and enhancing our neighborhoods and creating community. And it's the groups, they take on all the challenges and working with the volunteers and putting on events. Working with our police department or other relevant departments of the city to improve their neighborhoods and improve community. So it's a thank you and a testament to the groups that have been working with the Neighborhoods First program for 25 years. So thank you.
Thank you, guys. Thank you. Excellent.
Yikes.
Oh, photo.
Is that your neighborhood first, Bob? Is that your neighborhood first? Yes. It is? Mine means a Cafe Italia.
That's the other way.
Oh.
Great. Up next, we have the Boys and Girls Club of Washington County project update. We have with us today Addie Nardi, the executive director.
Hello, everyone.
Hi, Addie.
Welcome.
Hey, Addie.
Is this for me?
Yes.
So first of all, thank you guys so much for letting us come. And I don't know if you've seen some of the beginnings of progress on our block, but I thought it was probably time to show you all what we had going on. Every morning. And I know you guys have the little copies, but I have a few extra copies. I do want to say my board president is here, Chris Hallett. my development director, EJ Fuller, and one of our campaign volunteers, Tony Rodersheimer. Did I get that right? You did. So I'll just start going. So we did just start on our 81st year. We're back to regular programming, which is awesome. Excuse me. We did the distance learning. We did the most boring summer camp in the history of history during the COVID summer. No field trips. There were no field trips, were there? No swimming, nothing fun. So we're back to operating in our 4 sites in the city normally, and we are very happy about that. It's we're willing to do it mass as long as we can just let these kids be normal kids. We are trying to build back to our pre-COVID numbers. We've had some issues in the building that have prevented us from doing that at Pennsylvania Avenue, but I'll touch on that in a minute. And as of last Friday, we had just under 400 registered members and an average daily attendance of about 137 across the city. We did receive some funding, well, we got a fair amount of funding from the state through the Maryland Alliance of Boys and Girls Clubs and Project Bounce Back. We are using that in Washington County to get into some neighborhoods where we've not been able to reach, like the Bradford or Halfway Manor, Oak Ridge, with the goal of trying to get into, interact with more kids, so that when we have our new building, they'll have a place, they'll be familiar enough with us that they'll want to come to the club. So, if you haven't been to Pennsylvania Avenue lately, I wanted to show you a little bit about what we're dealing with. Well, currently the red brick buildings are down, which was kind of the first phase of this project. Obviously this building is over 100 years old. It was a Fairchild building at one point, among other things. We took the building over in the 70s. It was donated to us. And my predecessor, God love him, kept the building up himself. And I was very clear when I interviewed that I do not possess those skills. So currently, when you can see the front of the building, the facade is starting to crumble. That's just one of many issues on the outside of the building. The games room it continues to be the center of activity in that building. This is our summer camp, getting ready to go to the pool this past summer. But we also have some historic leaking in the building, and the water damage has actually given us some serious issues in some of the rooms. The bathrooms are old, they're outdated, they are inadequate for the safety considerations. The plumbing is old, it is prone to clogging. I am on a first name basis with the Roto-Rooter guy. He spends a lot of time trying to in the club because we have an issue where all the old pipes are meeting. Zach. I will say, and I thank you all for the support that you all have given us. We are very well supported from the community. But I think when people get to the front part with the cute kids and the donations, they don't see the other things like the holes in the wall, the stairs that are trip hazards, or the picture in the middle, by the way, I did that. I filled that hole because Deanna Palmer made me. So, but that was a big gaping hole in the stairwell as well. This is just a picture of our staff office during distance learning. We utilized it for online schools, for online classes. But right off of that is our kitchen, which has evidence of mold. It's the main source of a rodent infestation that we have every year. And then on the windows in that office have vines growing into it from the property next door. Not the property we took down, the property on the other side. This is a gym. The gym hasn't changed, right? It's just a metal building. Except we have serious lighting issues. The back 4 lights in the corner we've tried repeatedly to repair them, and it has come to, no fix has worked. Mike Radiker from MEC actually is going to replace all the lights in there for us, and this is like our last ditch effort to see if we can get the lighting fixed, because right now it works for what we use it for, but it's super dark and the lights, like the lanterns keep going out one by one. And so we may have, I mean, if we close the gym, I'm not sure that we would be able to stay open, period. There's the back for the culprits. This was, if you are familiar with the club, this used to be Jim's weight room. This is where he would go and lift weights with the members. I clearly was not going to carry that tradition on, so we turned that into a teen space. But in that space, because we don't have appropriate HVAC, the building's actually heated by an underground storage tank that's about 50 years old. It is due for its MDE inspection this year. Let's keep our fingers crossed, because if that fails the inspection, then it's going to provide a whole host of issues for us. We use window units in and around the club that are put in with various forms of duct tape. This is the open area upstairs. We've used this area for dancing, for programming. We've done meals up there during the summer. It served as a classroom for distance learning. But over the summer, we had a safety inspection from the Boys and Girls Club of America, and their recommendation was that we shut down that half of that open space to the back of the building. So we've lost a quarter of the space, programming space that we have. This is the arts and crafts room. It is yellow and glittery. It is everyone's favorite space. However, it is the number one source of the leak and the mold in the building. So the window, you can see, is rotted out, and we've had, it was leaking when I came in. That room's sealed off right now. When you go in, you can smell the mold in the room. This is the teen center. This was where our high schoolers could hang out and not have to be around elementary school kids, which, by the way, I think this is where our two councilwomen worked together at the club. I'm so sad to show you this next picture. It's unusable right now. So it is just wasted space at this point. So that was all the bad news, right? But here's the good news. We knew a couple years ago, the board of directors, we knew that we were going to have to start looking at options. We had the space donated to us from the Blaine family next door, and it was probably late 2018 that we put out an RFP to architects to get this moving. When we had that space donated to us, we knew that this was where we wanted to stay. We had looked at relocation options, but getting the Blaine property gave us an additional 1.25 acres. So Bushy Fight Morin actually came back, and they agreed to make us their project. So they've done this with a few other nonprofits, and they're going to donate all of their architectural services to this project. This is what our future looks like. This is a I just did all the state paperwork today. It's a 30,000 square foot club, so excuse my mistake. And it is going to replace the existing structure. And of course, it's going to replace the houses, the Blaine buildings, which we've already brought down. It's going to have a full-service gymnasium, obviously. It's going to have a cafetorium, so it'll be a space where not only, right now, the kids eat in the games rooms, or during COVID, they ate wherever they were. It'll have a cafetorium. We'll be able to do family suppers. We've never really been able to reach out and do events with our families. It's just been very kid-focused, so we'll be able to do family suppers. We'll be able to rent it. We'll be able to put on performances. It will have a commercial kitchen, which I do not have a kitchen right now that I could feed all of our kids out of. So right now we have a very good partnership with Washington County Public Schools. They feed our kids. The kids are a little iffy on it because it's more school food, right? But it's very important, and it's dinner for a lot of our families. If I ever lost that, I couldn't feed our kids. Certainly not through the kitchen that I currently have in Pennsylvania Avenue, where there may or may not be mice living in the oven, right? So a commercial kitchen was a must for us. The orange blocks that will be our teen center. So that will be space that will be just for our teenagers. I'm hoping to get them their entrance too. They will never have to cross paths with an elementary schooler again. The middle green spaces are a STEM room and an arts and crafts room. And then the pink spaces along the bottom are elementary school programming rooms. Never fear, we're not getting rid of our games room. The blue space in the front represents the games room and the lobby. We are in what they call the quiet phase of our campaign, right? So we have raised just over 2.3 million. We've had some very generous donations from the Fletcher Foundation, the Callis Foundation, and the Bowman Family Foundation, and our board of directors who have given 100% to this project. It just came out, I think last week or the week before, that we have $2 million reserved for us in Governor Hogan's capital budget, and I just filled out all the paperwork for that today. I submitted it today. We think this is going to be an $8 million project. That's what we're raising. This is the upstairs. So I tried hard. I didn't want 2 floors. But the way that the space, the way that the lot is situated, the top floor will be our administrative offices, which is nice because right now we're down in the action, which I like. But this will give us some separate space. One of the things I really think this could do for us is, and I know nothing about this, but I think it could redevelop. Once we redevelop that block, I think that we could revitalize that neighborhood or be part of the revitalization that's already going on in the community. But regardless, we need the new building. Do you guys have any questions, comments, concerns?
Will parking be improved as a?
There will
as a
be
mom that drops
parking.
off?
There will be so much parking.
Yeah. Or laundromat.
I became a phenomenal parallel parker whenever I started working at the Boys and Girls Club of Washington County, but we will, yes, there will be ample parking, there will be outdoor play space. I think there will be a phase 2 where we'll be able to possibly put some outdoor courts out there or something along those lines. But my number 1 priority for the outdoors was to get parking in an outdoor play space. Because right now, if our kids play outside, we have to walk them either to Wheaton Park or Woodland Way Park, which are both wonderful parks, but the risk whenever you have these kids and you're walking them from point A to point B, if I can just have a place for them to play right there, that'd be my preference.
When are you out of your quiet phase?
I'm hoping by summer. We've had really good, I mean, we've not made a lot of asks. We've not been told no. So we've been a little bit strategic. So this $8 million project, we've looked at $3 million of it coming from government sources. Obviously we have the $2 million from the state. We have had conversations about applying for federal dollars. We're presenting to the county, and of course we're bringing you guys in the loop on this. And then the other 5 will be raised through philanthropic efforts. People seem pretty open to this. So at worst case scenario, the fundraising will happen this calendar year, and then we can break ground. Actually, I just learned you have to do like 9 months of this thing called site work. I've only ever done the fundraising side of this, so this is all new to me. But my hope is we'll be moving towards having the new building starting next year, early next year.
That's great.
We don't have time. That's the problem. I mean, every time a gift comes in, I get really excited, and I'm like, okay, but we got to get out of this building. We got to get out of this building. So it's served its purpose. It's been a great place for the youth of our community to come to. But now it's time to give these kids a building that shows them how the community feels about them.
That's right.
So,
Correct.
As someone who attended the same location when I was a kid, and now my daughter also attends there, it's definitely time for that.
yeah.
Takesha and I, Councilman Martinez and I visited the Cambridge opening of their Boys and Girls Club, and we was looking at each other like, we need this too. We deserve all the
Yes.
good things and the technology that was put into that facility.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to this. A lot of memories there, but it's time that the kids get their fair share of improvements.
We're hopeful to bring some of the I joke nothing's gone to the new building, but the old crank pencil sharpener, which is the only pencil sharpener that has ever worked for me. But we're going to bring some elements of that old building, and I don't want to lose sight of the fact of what it was in the community. But you're right, it's time for something new. So, Any other questions?
I have a comment.
Yes, ma'am.
Well, a story. So my first community job was to be a team director at the Pennsylvania Avenue. And so I was trained by Miss June. And how Miss June trained me was to build relationships with the kids. And so she trained me by teaching me how to play chess and teaching me how to play a game called Mancala. And so I developed the teen program, developed the teen center, and Tiara was a part of the teen program back then. And so then my kids went there as well. I grew up in the Boys and Girls Club. It's very near and dear to my heart. So thank you guys for all you do.
I'm sorry we had to shut down the teen room. When I got to that slide, I felt bad.
Yeah, if I wouldn't have had the club, I don't think that I would have as much confidence in things that I did. And then also that learning experience of how to build relationships. I'm very gifted when it comes to building relationships with kids, but that's from Miss June and definitely underneath Jim Diener. So, yeah.
And my daughter had a great time at summer camp, so I don't
This
know.
year they swam. Last year they didn't do anything.
She was just happy to be outside, so no complaints from her. So good job.
Thank you, Eddie.
We appreciate everything you do. I'm just curious, do you have an ask?
Well, this is just, I am just starting to look at funding options at this level. I think that there will be some things that we'll be asking of you guys down the road, but we are hoping to achieve the $3 million in government support. So,
Okay.
all right.
Thank you.
Thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
All right, up next, we have a Main Street Hagerstown update.
I'll send these around as additional handouts. So good evening, and tonight we're here to give you an update on the Main Street program. And I'd like to first introduce our Main Street Advisory Council members who have joined me tonight. The group came together in the fall of last year. So with us is Brittany Aramendi and Sarah Elwood, and Carlos Davis may be joining us this afternoon. But a part of the advisory council, but not with us tonight, is Chaz Redmond and Chris Reese. So I'd like to turn it over to Brittany. The group has worked on a new logo development and rebranding project, so I'd like her to walk us through the presentation as well as give us a general update on the activities of the advisory council.
Good evening, everyone. Sarah and I are going to just kind of walk you through what our process has been the last several months. So as you can see on the next slide, this is our team. I don't think any of us really knew each other that well, but we've come together and we've worked really well over the last several months. You can see we created a new mission statement. So we started meeting in early September, and before we threw ourselves into any projects, we felt like we needed to identify what is Main Street Hagerstown. So we walked through a mission statement, and this is what we ended up with: to create a downtown where people and businesses come together to live, work, and thrive. We kept it simple and straightforward. And then in early October, we started gathering quotes from graphic designers. And then in early November, we reviewed designs from the graphic designer we selected. And a lot of communications was done via email. And we corresponded with one another, what we liked, what worked, what didn't work. And as we go to the next slide, so these brand traits, these were words that were brought up during our brainstorming for our mission. So these are just some of the words when we thought about Hagerstown. This is how we identified downtown Hagerstown. And then the overall aesthetic we were going for in the design. So as you can see, bold, vibrant, gritty, raw, distinctive, artistic, experimental, Instagrammable, brazen. Those are all words that we thought were important as part of this process. These next two slides are basically just inspiration that our designer presented to us as what do we want Hagerstown to be? What is it now, and what do we want it to be in the future? So these are just some photos of inspiration, font, and design of what we were looking for moving forward, and this is actually the color palette, I think, that was chosen. And then this is where we get into the new logo and design. So this is downtown Hagerstown. We've shifted a little bit away from Main Street Hagerstown. We did some research with what other Main Street communities are doing in the state of Maryland and also outside of the state as well. And we were all speaking, if you tell somebody you're going downtown, we don't necessarily say we're going to Main Street Hagerstown. So I think that was one of the identifiers for us. We're going downtown Hagerstown. And we felt like that was identifiable, especially with one of the aesthetics, which was being Instagrammable. We won't bore you with reading this whole thing. This is just the colors inverted. So this is the black on the white background. Previously, you saw the white font on the black background. This is the whole brand identity suite. So this is how you'll be seeing it used in many different forms downtown. We went back and forth with our designer multiple times to land where we are. She did a phenomenal job working with us and receiving feedback. And then we have two more, just in case we need to add a Maryland Main Street community at any point in our branding, so we do have that as well. But this will be plastered everywhere in the coming months, just to brand downtown Hagerstown. These are the colors that were chosen, and then this is how it will appear in color. And this is just the color palette in a different logo. And that's what it might look like on an event that we're having. And this is it applied to merchandise. So you can see it's used in many different ways with the different types of logos. And Sam Jones was our graphic designer that we used, and she did a phenomenal job. So we just wanted to give her a shout out. Any questions? I don't know if we'll be able to answer them, but we'll do our best.
I love it. It looks amazing.
I love it, I love it, I love it. Yep, it's fun.
I want a hoodie.
Me too.
Always want to go hoodie.
And we appreciate you guys helping to bring Main Street back to life, and I'm excited for the future and what we can accomplish.
I do have one question though. Since we are doing a marketing and branding campaign for the city of Hagerstown, right? So is there going to be communication, or like, is that going to confuse, or?
So we met about that this morning. So the Hagerstown rebranding is going to be for Hagerstown, for us, like that seal, all of this. The Main Street rebranding, and as well as the A&E district, who is also going to do like a rebranding, will be, City of Hagerstown in partnership with Downtown Hagerstown, Main Street, A&E. So it will be separate, but it will also be taken into consideration in the meetings and things like that.
Okay.
But this is just specific for this district, whereas the Hagerstown rebranding is as a whole.
I think it's great. Nice, refreshing.
Instagrammable.
It's
Instagrammable. Do you guys have any questions, comments, feedback? All right, I look forward to the future.
We look forward to bringing other updates in the coming months as we start to administer the logo and also look at some of the programs and activities that Main Street's been talking about. We'll continue to give you regular updates on this program.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Sarah.
And Sarah's actually smiling.
She did really well.
We watched a 2-hour play where all she did was smirk the whole
She
time.
wasn't supposed to smile, she said.
All right, City Administrator.
Thank you, Mayor. Just one thing, I want to give a big thank you to support services staff and IT staff. for the work they did in setting up the new payment portal that the public can use to pay utility bills, tax bills, parking tickets, pretty much any charge that is made by the city to a citizen, they can pay there. It is a vast difference from what we had before, so be patient with it. There are instruction links to use on there, but we have now provided the opportunity to set up auto pays, recurring auto pays using credit cards, which has been something that people have asked for years. Venmo, PayPal, Apple Pay, Google Pay, any pay you want to pay with, you can pay with.
Or by check.
Or by, yes, or,
Except American Express.
except American Express. Way too costly to use American Express. So give it a try. I think once you get, you can still link your accounts, and once you get your accounts in there, you're going to find it's going to be an extremely easy way to make a payment without having to either come in here or call on the phone. And it's all free of charge, no convenience fees are attached to it. So a big thank you to Beth Everhart, Michelle back there, Dave Gordon, Jim Snyder. A lot of people worked on this for the last several months. Nathan Freidinger, Paul Falk, big crew helped with it, and hugely appreciated. I think it'll be a big difference on how we allow our citizens to get payments made. So
In the 21st century.
Yes, welcome.
we were struggling to get into the 19th for a while. So
Online.
that's it for me. Thank you.
Thanks. Councilmember Martinez?
I knew he was going to do that. I felt it. I just want to say that this is February 1st, Black History Month, and I just want to, as far as the city of Hagerstown, show your children and teenagers and young people like your local leadership. Teach them about the Black history that is local. Teach them how to support and recognize their local artists. I think that it's a lot of times with kids, they see these Black leaders as out of reach or so far away and successful, but we have a lot of them right here. We have a lot of artists and stuff, and I think that it's really amazing to see the kids recognize someone like Sonny Bronco on the street and thank him or get a picture with him, an autograph, or someone like Isis who does roller derby, the mighty Isis. And so just challenge the people of Hagerstown to look at your local leadership and look at who's doing great things, firefighters and police officers and all of that, and let's celebrate those that we have at home. Take care of home first.
Thank you. Councilmember Alshire? No?
Well, I gave it the old test run yesterday for the new payment system, and I'm sure I wore Beth out. But we did figure it out, and I got to pay my 2 utility bills, and so they were happy, and I was more informed. So it'll work.
So it was your fault.
Without a doubt, it was you for there.
Okay.
I don't,
Just
you
making
know,
sure that's all.
I don't blame anybody but myself,
Okay,
but,
okay.
it's,
I said, make the instructions so simple, even Councilman Berluci can.
and it didn't work. It didn't work.
Had to pull in and
But anyway, it's, once you get through it, it's very simple. So I think it'll make life easier for a lot of people, even my age. So.
I don't have anything.
All right, I just have 2 things. One, last Thursday, the Arts and Entertainment Group had a public Zoom and 28 people attended. I thought that was a pretty good turnout, so thank you to everyone who came on and gave feedback. And then lastly, just wanted to give a shout out to Chief Lohr and the Hagerstown Fire Department. They had a rough couple days. There's a couple fires in the city. One was pretty bad, and I'll tell you, I was listening to the call and I was terrified for all of you the entire time. I felt like listening in my living room, my anxiety was up to here, so I just can't imagine how you guys felt actually being there dealing with that. But we appreciate you and all of the other units that came in to assist in our city, and thankfully no one was hurt. And with that, I hope everyone has a good.
How about a letter?
Oh, yeah, I have a letter of support. Thanks. Yeah, we had a request to support Growing Opportunities for Family Child Care Grant. Are you guys okay with this?
Yes.
Okay. And then lastly, given the update we had with the opioid litigation, you guys know I've been sitting on a committee with MML and MACO, negotiating with the Attorney General, and I do need to sign that contract, so I just permission to sign on our behalf.
Yes.
All right, thank you, guys. With that, we're adjourned.
Hello and welcome to Council Wrap. I'm Wes Decker, and I've got a full house today, as it were. I'm joined by Jill Thompson, Director of Department of Community and Economic Development for the city. Also, Sarah Elwood and Brittany Arizmendi. You might know her from Washington County government, part of the committee or the council for Main Street and sort of revitalizing Main Street to some degree. The advisory council that's been working on this over the last number of months, 5-person council. We'll talk more about that in a moment. But Jill, let me start with you because we talked a little bit about the Arts and Entertainment District and what's been going on with that, with the redesignation, something that is dictated basically by the state of Maryland if an A&E district wants to remain. 29 of them altogether in the state, so you sort of follow the guidelines, you come up for redesignation, and I know that's been going well. You can talk about that a little bit in a moment, but as far as Main Street is concerned, it doesn't follow the exact same steps, but at the same time, there's a little bit of that comes into play, and we're still talking about a downtown district. So kind of sort this out a little bit. I know I made a little bit of a mess of this, so I'll let you sort it out.
Okay, thanks, Wes. We're lucky in Hagerstown to have 2 designations for our downtown. We are designated as an arts and entertainment district, which is recognized by the Maryland State Arts Council. And we're also recognized as a Main Street district, which is recognized by the State of Maryland Department of Housing and Community Development. It also follows and is modeled after the national Main Street designation that is recognized across the U.S.
I know with the A&E district, one of the important things for folks is the
tax incentives that come along with being within that particular district. How does Main Street benefit people?
Main Street has a 4-point model nationally, and the state adds a 5th model, a 5th category as a way of organizing the conversation about a downtown. Looking at your promotions, your business development activity, your clean, green, and safe activities, and those are just 3 of the 5-point approach. And what it helps to do is organize the conversation and send a message to prospective investors that we're managing our downtown in a way to spur redevelopment.
Okay, yeah, that makes perfect sense. And Brittany, let me go to you as it relates to this particular council. I know you sort of set this up in the meeting itself, but for those who didn't see the meeting or giving you a chance here to sort of expound on it a little bit, talk a little bit about the formation of this particular council and why you decided in particular that you wanted to be part of it.
Sure. So we have an outstanding group. We are a team of 5 that I believe the mayor reached out to all of us individually to ask if we were interested. So it's myself, Sarah Elwood, Carlos Davis, Chaz Redmond, and Chris Reese. So we're missing our 3 gentlemen. But all 5 of us have gotten together, I think maybe a handful of times, and we've been very productive about revitalizing, kind of breathing life into what is Main Street in Hagerstown. And this evening we unveiled the new logo, which was a huge initiative. We kind of felt like Main Street Hagerstown needs a new identity. And that was our main goal for the first few months while we met. So we exchanged emails, we met in person, really just to have a general focus, a cohesive focus together. And tonight was exciting because we got to show what we've been working on the last few months, and then the 5 elements Jill spoke about earlier, that will be our focus moving forward, is now that we have an identity, how do we take that identity, move forward, and get people excited about coming to downtown Hagerstown, enjoying the Main Street district?
Yeah, and Sarah, how daunting a task is that when you're a member of a council like this, and it's something that is, you know, you're trying to put your finger on the pulse of what others are going to find to be something that you enjoy, or, you know, your input
makes something which is larger, as Brittany pointed out. So, is that some sort of pressure? I mean, do you embrace that? I mean, how do you approach it?
I know everyone's a little bit different, but it's such a good group because we all come from different areas within the city and different focuses and different passions. So it's good because we all kind of overlap in some places and have our strengths. But we're also not alone because we're going to have a meeting with the Arts and Entertainment District and kind of get on the same page with them because there is some overlap there. And we also will find time to get volunteers, and it's going to grow and it's going to be great, but it's a lot of daunting tasks ahead of us, I think.
And how do you arrive? I mean, it was great to see some of the tangible work that you've done, as it relates to the logos and the color schemes and things like that. How do you get to that point? And the reason I ask that is because, as was alluded to in the meeting, the city is embarking on this imaging and branding campaign. Right. And to me, when I think about this, it is so nebulous to think, how do we get all of the departments under one umbrella? How do we have something that is a golden thread that connects them all and will always work in that manner? So I know this is a little bit on a smaller scale, but at the same time, it's the same thing. So what was your thought process going into this to get to something like just the logo itself?
Right. So we very much wanted it to be future focused, but not forget who we are and where we came from. If I'm not mistaken, it was an industrial town, and we wanted to keep that kind of gritty, raw feeling. And luckily, Sam with Origin Design Company is just so fantastic. We sent her a couple examples and a couple words, and she really went to town with it. So we got lucky.
What do you think of when you think of downtown, Brittany? I mean, you work downtown. You have a lot of knowledge of downtown, but what's your thought process when it comes to downtown and then creating something for the masses and something that represents downtown?
To me, downtown Hagerstown has so much character. It's something that a lot of cities try to replicate in new architecture, but we have it here. And so I think taking the beauty of what's already here and revitalizing that. My husband has a business down here, and he really tries to make it a bright, light, exciting space for his students to come, and we see that. So we have parents coming downtown just about every weeknight. Yeah. And I think for me, living in other larger cities and seeing how active other cities are in the evening, I think that's a goal of our committee. Is often it's not very busy down here because of perceptions people have. So that's our job, is how do we let people know Hagerstown's a great place to come. Right. We have amazing restaurants down here. There's great entertainment. Come join us. Come have fun. Come downtown. And so I think that's a lot of it is a perception. And so that doesn't change overnight. Right. So it's going to take some time, but I think, again, the brand identity, that's why that was so important to our team. And like Sarah mentioned, our team is very diverse in where we work during the daytime and how we spend our evenings, that we had a lot of different perspectives come together. And I think that's what it's all about, is coming together and using our people, our community that we know, to create this great thing down here.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And I think, you hit on that word, diversity. And I think the city has become more and more diverse over the years, and we've seen that reflected in a lot of different ways and in a lot of different things. In working within this council, you and Sarah and the three gentlemen, was there anything that was suggested or anything you heard that you thought to yourself, wow, I mean, for as much as I know about downtown, I never thought of it that way, that kind of helped you in this process?
I think a lot of times, maybe more in like the areas that we focus on. Main Street isn't very big, but we kind of forget some of the little pockets that it falls into. Like it goes all the way to like the corner of the Dagmar and like down there. And we focus a lot on the main strip.
Yeah.
But, you know, with Carlos and your husband, like, we are thinking about outside
Right.
of just that area to focus on.
And
so.
I also think something else that was important to us was it's embracing the new, but also giving respect to those who have spent their entire lives here and maybe retired and come to the Maryland Theater or come to Bulls and Bears
Yeah.
and enjoy the downtown atmosphere. How do we also make them feel included in this, but also making it so younger people in their young 20s to mid 30s excited about coming down here. So it's bridging that gap. And I feel like we've done a pretty good job so far being respectful of all different generations. So I think that's something we want to keep in mind moving forward is it's not just about us and what we want. Like certainly we are the future, but we also can't just forget about an entire generation that built what Hagerstown is now. So what are their traditions? What did they love about Hagerstown when they were a child? Or what do they remember? What are their positive thoughts? And how do we take that and pay respect to that? Or also take an old thing and make it new?
Yeah, without a doubt, because I think, you know, people in Hagerstown are very nostalgic about things. And sometimes, as is human nature, we don't necessarily appreciate things enough while they're here. And then when they're gone, we have a longing for those things. And it doesn't mean that they're gone forever or that we have to forget about them. But like you said, I mean, it's a tough balance coming up with something that is going to be inviting for a newer generation, but yet again, working with the foundation that's been laid by the previous generations, for sure. So where does this council go from here, Jill? I mean, how do we kind of follow this? When will it be finalized? When will it be implemented? What are the next steps?
Yeah, certainly the brand identity package and the logo, we certainly had great support from the mayor and city council. And so when the team is ready, we'll begin to apply the logo to a variety of items. And I think it gives an opportunity for the community to support and embrace our downtown through acceptance of the logo and whatever materials that it gets applied to. There's been some ideas of developing stickers early on, so we certainly hope everyone will grab a sticker and display a sticker as a sign of support for our downtown, for Hagerstown's downtown.
Right.
We also have a brainstorming list of a variety of programs and projects that Main Street wants to undertake, and that will create opportunities for citizens to get involved at different levels. So we look forward to coming back to the mayor and council with future updates on some new programs and new ideas.
Wow. Well, very impressive work to this point. Again, I was thrilled to see what you've done so far. Hopefully that is the reaction of the majority at this point, and best of luck going forward with the council as you continue.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Wes.
And thank you as always, Jill, and thank you to all of you for watching, and we'll look forward to seeing you next time on Council Wrap. For now, that's a wrap.